This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. Today, I'll be 3D printing a demoness succubus, Albedo from the anime Overlord. This model is by Putty, and if you're interested in printing this one for yourself, you can find it in the description below. After a quick dry fitting and everything looks good, onto sanding. Recently, I started wet sanding my models and I find it works really well. It also produces less dust, which is a major plus. Tried different methods of filling drain holes, and not long ago, I was sent this UV putty by Funcrecol. It has this sticky texture to it, and it was relatively easy to fill the holes with it. Once it's filled, I cure it with my handy UV torch. My first impression is that it's really useful for quick fills like this. Unlike other putties that I've used, this cures really fast using UV light, so I don't have to wait around for it to cure. I'll be doing a giveaway of these soon, so make sure to follow my channel if you want to try this UV putty for yourself. Now, time to give the model a coat of primer. Recently, I have been using the FlexiSpot standing desk while working on my models. Being able to work while standing really helped relieve the stress and pressure on my lower back. However, because model making is quite a long process, I can't work standing up during the whole session. That's why when I decide to sit back down and paint, having a comfortable and ergonomic chair comes in very handy. The FlexiSpot C7 ergonomic chair is FlexiSpot's premium office chair. Having a reliable ergonomic chair is really important for your long-term health. Besides the usual height adjustment like most office chairs, the C7 has an adjustable headrest where you can move it up and down, forwards, and backwards. The 40 adjustable armrest can go higher and lower, forwards and backwards, and even rotate to adjust the angle you need it to be. One key feature is the self-adaptive lumbar support. This cushion will follow you as you move forward and backward so that your lower back is always supported. The seat cushion also has the ability to tilt forward, so when I need to lean in to paint smaller details, I can still sit comfortably without putting strain on myself. All these adjustments are designed to help you find the most comfortable seating position no matter what task you're doing. The C7 is also built super sturdy. It has a weight capacity of 300 pounds, so even the bigger boys and girls can rely on this chair. When I decide to take a break and unwind, I can take out the footrest and lean back to enjoy a movie or some anime. The mesh design is also breathable, so you won't feel hot and sweaty even after long periods of time. If you're interested in trying out the FlexiSpot C7 ergonomic chair, feel free to check them out on their website. They offer a 30 days free return and a 10-year warranty, so make sure to take advantage of that. Thank you FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back into painting. Next up is the skin tones, and I always start out with a pink base layer. This pink layer will serve as a foundation of the skin tones that I'll apply, and I just think it works really well with the style I want to achieve. Next, let's move on to her actual skin tones. The first color will be a mix of Athena skin and skin tone. I covered the majority of the area with this and only leave a slight hint of pink in the shaded areas. Then, I move on to some red and only focus on certain areas of the skin, like around the eyes, the chest, and the knees. Next, I move on to the first highlight color. This will cover probably around 60 to 70% of the area, and I deliberately spray less on the red spots I painted earlier. For the last highlight, I mix in some off-white to the previous color and only focus on the highest spots on the figure. Onto her wings now. I almost never leave black as is. I always try to give some colors to highlight the black, since this will be much more visually appealing to look at. To do so, I mix some blue and purples together to create this highlight. I'll also be using the same color to highlight her hair, so that the whole figure is more coherent. Let's start working on her dress now, and to protect the skin tone, I'll be covering it up with some silly putty. Like earlier, since she has a black dress, I'll use some purple to highlight her dress instead of the blue, just so that it's visually different compared to her wings and hair. It's always so satisfying removing silly putty and seeing the figure slowly come together. Next, before I put away the airbrush, I'll finish off the base. I'm following the main reference image, so I'll be doing a pretty dark base. So I first start with the brown to cover the whole area. Then, I airbrush some green on top. And finally, just a bit of yellow highlights. I'll also be using some contrast paints all over it so that it creates a lot of shadow and bring the whole thing together. The final step will be to dry brush some gray, and it's done. Time to bring out the paintbrush. For the portrait, I always start off with the eyes. It's one of the most difficult parts to paint, but for some reason, I really enjoy painting eyes. It's kinda like playing the Dark Souls games. They're really hard, but when you beat them, it feels so satisfying. To give the eye some shine, I apply just a bit of UV resin on the iris and cure it with my UV light. As for the lips, I'll be using some gloss varnish. With that, she's almost done and we can head on to assembling her soon. As always, this is the part where I thank you for reaching this far into the video. If you've enjoyed my content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to leave any feedback on how I can improve my content for you. I also want to thank my Patreon and YouTube members, and shout out to my newest members, Gels75, Han, and Pedro Benesby. It's really crazy to think I have fans like you guys, and I will really do my best to keep improving and creating fun content for you all. Now, let's head back to assembling Albedo. Most of the time, I use super glue to assemble my models, but the back of her hair is really heavy, so I'll be using some 5-minute epoxy since it's much stronger.
Sometimes it burns, sometimes it hurts when you say my name, but thinking of her